the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. It is a Sunday afternoon, and a lot of ground to cover today, so let's get right to it. I'm Dan Carroll. Let's open this. Always got to start the podcast with that.
Big crack of beer.
We made a mistake today because the Reds game just started, and I like to watch the Reds game on TV. So here we are. We're doing the podcast, and I
don't think that's a mistake, Dan. I enjoy doing the podcast.
Well, so do I. But I like watching the Reds. I mean, there's a TV right up there, but we're on it. But not
I could
the
put
Reds
the Reds game on there. If you
That's
want.
all right. I'll be staring at that the whole time.
God.
But on a more serious note, we are starting the podcast with this today. Go ahead and roll that video. That's video from a couple of nights ago when a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy was brutally attacked by a criminal scumbag, and that deputy lost his life.
Very close to us.
It
happens all over, but it's hitting us because it's literally less than 15 miles from here. But we also
where it happened,
but we also have a huge conglomerate of family that we know that are Hamilton County sheriffs, and they've lost a brother.
Yeah, we're gonna show you some video later on, and you're gonna see people in these videos that we are friends and neighbors with, and one of those neighbors lives just right down the street, less than a mile from where we're sitting right now. And we're going to get into all the details of this story. But the one thing that I think has really bothered me about this is the use of the word tragedy. And, when I think of a tragedy, I think of something that happens that is out of the control of the people who are involved in it. When a dog runs away from its owner, runs out in the middle of the street and gets hit by a car, that's a tragedy. If someone is walking down the street and a tree gets struck by lightning, that tree falls over and kills them, that's a tragedy. That's tragic. It was just circumstance to put those people in the places where they were, and a series of events took place, and something very bad happened to those people. And the lawyer from the family, I'm gonna get into some of the words that this lawyer for the family used, but to call this a tragedy or a tragic incident is a complete disservice and makes this lawyer an idiot,
to say the least.
And the way he describes the perpetrator. And I'm not going to say that his son was the victim, because his son brought about his own demise.
His son broke the law. So, let's give everybody that's not from Cincinnati.
Yeah,
we'll give them a heads up of what's happening, how this all came about, because it was 2 days of complete shit. And you and I both know a bunch of CPD guys, and
yep.
we know a soon to be a new CPD guy, Cincinnati Police, and to be put in a position first and foremost. But we'll get into that after we play just this quick clip. And the fact that we make national news, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, on a story like this, it's terrible.
I don't like it one bit.
But this is a good piece here, because it pretty much covers the basics, the nuts and bolts of what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, the first, the last, and everything else.
Authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old captured on police body cam is connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning. 4 suspects then fleeing police. Among them, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton. Body camera shows Hinton fall as he tries to run away. Police say they heard a metal clinking sound they believe was a gun. As Hinton emerges from behind a dumpster, authorities say, another officer firing 4 or 5 shots.
The officer says that he saw the suspect point the firearm at him.
Yes. Just 6 seconds passed between when police arrived and gunshots rang out. Officials say they tried administering medical aid. Hinton was struck twice and died. Investigators saying this gun was recovered from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. On Friday, a day after that shooting and 2 hours after the Hinton family reviewed the body camera footage, according to the family's lawyer, a driver crashing a car into a Hamilton County deputy directing traffic near a commencement ceremony, killing him. The suspect, authorities say, is Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr. Hinton's attorney calling the officer's death a horrific tragedy. At his first court appearance today, Hinton walked through a room packed with law enforcement. He's now charged with aggravated murder.
With the Hamilton County Sheriff says the deputy's death was a tremendous loss. Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday.
That's a nuts and bolts. The little bit of a background story, because this didn't just happen in happenstance. In my personal opinion, granted, everything is alleged, until you're proven guilty. But we have some other videos that will show that there is zero remorse.
Yeah. So just to review, today is Sunday. It is May the 4th. This all started on Thursday, May the 1st. And the Cincinnati Enquirer put out a timeline on this today. And it starts out early Thursday morning. A Kia Telluride, a 2021 Telluride, was reported stolen from northern Kentucky. The owner of the car had a GPS device or a tracking device on his car, and he was able to tell police exactly where his car was. So
very smart.
So police go to the location, and they find the car. When they get there, there's 4 guys in this car, all sleeping, apparently. So Cincinnati police, they pull up. This is 9:30 in the morning. The officers encounter the 4 people in the stolen Kia. This is on the west side of town, a part of town called East Price Hill. The 4 get out and they run. They run from the cops, did not comply with the officer's command to stop. So that's the first thing right there. Non-compliance with the officers. Had these kids, and they're all only 18 or 19 years old. And so they're not kids, they're punks.
Well,
they're derelicts, they're punks.
I use this term today because you keep hearing kids. No, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Now, mentally, you may still be a kid, but you are legally you're a goddamn,
they're adults.
You're a grown-ass fucking man. They pissed today.
They chose not to stop. They ran. At least one of them had a gun. 3 of them go into the woods. The 4th suspect, later identified as Ryan Hinton, only 18 years old, wound up getting shot by police in the chest and in the arm. The guy had a gun. And when you look at the video, they look here in Cincinnati. We learned our lesson a long time ago that it's best to come out with as much information as you possibly can to explain the circumstances of a shooting, because we used to have a police department that believed in keeping everything under wraps, not releasing any information at all until they were very far down the road of investigating and had all their ducks in a row. And I think it was really more of just an administrative style that was sort of ingrained in the Cincinnati police, and that went on for years and years and years. And so what happened at that time was that it allowed rumors to spread, and it allowed false narratives to get out there. And these false narratives would take on a life of their own. And you hear all this stuff about, what happened, what didn't happen, who got it's like the Ferguson in the Ferguson, Missouri, right? Hands up, don't shoot.
Was it Brown? Michael Brown?
Yeah, hands up, don't shoot. And there are people who were talking about that, saying that, this kid had his hands up and the cop shot him anyway. Well, that turned out to be completely false. But now, this was all before the advent of dash cam video, police body cam video, and all the rest of it. So Cincinnati police, before there was video evidence that shows practically everything these days, they made it a point to come out and release as much information as possible without jeopardizing the legitimacy of the investigation, in order to get factual information out there and avoid people overreacting and then additional violence getting tacked on to a situation that was already bad to begin with. So this kid runs from the police. The body cam video, because the officer is running, is blurred. But when police came out and and I thought they did a really good job on this.
They were quick. They were quick at it.
When they gave the briefing, when they released the video cam, the body cam video, which was the next day, about maybe a little over 24 hours after it happened, the next day, which is pretty quick. They broke this video down frame by frame because it was really the only way you could understand it. Mm-hmm. And so they combine the officer's narrative, and they get the brief, they're asked questions. That was part of the investigation. What happened? How did it go down? And both of the officers who were there said we could hear the gun hit the concrete. And there's video evidence of that. You see that the kid is here, the gun is there. It's on the concrete. The gun has scratches on it from where it hit the concrete. So then there's another frame. The next frame is this kid reaching for that gun, bending down to pick up his gun, which has an extended clip on it. So in most cases, and you talk to most police officers anywhere you go, and I think Tansy will back me up on this, is that if you have a suspect and there's a gun close by, and that suspect reaches for that gun, that's game on.
Yeah, it's you or them.
Yeah, as a police officer, you're well within your rights to shoot at that guy.
You're going home.
Yeah. No matter whether he's running away, coming at you, no matter what. So let's go back to the timeline here. So police release the thing. Hinton gets hit. He dies at the scene. Two of the three people who ran into the woods were later apprehended. Jarrell Austin, 18 years old. D'Anthony Bullocks, 19 years old. Both charged with receiving stolen property. I think the evidence is going to come out later in, once these cases go to court, is that these guys were essentially operating a stolen car business where they would go and they would steal cars and then, whatever people do with stolen cars these days, part them out or sell them on, I don't know where.
They give them to some other fucking derelict. Yeah. They sell them for cheap and boom, here, take it.
Yeah. So a third guy was able to evade police custody for a while. I think he was arrested the next day. Let's see. Between 10 and 11 a.m. the next day. Okay, so this is essentially 24 hours after the incident happened. The Hinton family viewed the body cam footage of the death, okay? A guy named Michael Wright of the Cochran law firm said he was with the family as they were reviewing the video footage. So Cincinnati police, before they went to the public, they went to the family of the dead guy and said, here's the evidence.
Well, I think
probably as raw as that evidence can be,
Well,
they show it to the family.
the body cam footage. I think in any of our cop buddies that are in the chats, if they are, I think that is normal procedure.
Is it?
Is
Okay.
they'll bring the family in, show them the body cam footage that they have, and explain, break it down and explain it to them with their legal counsel or whatever. I think that is normal procedure, but I cannot speak complete truth to that.
So the lawyer is there. They're watching the video. He says Hinton's father was very distraught. Well, that seems to me like a normal reaction if you see video of your 18-year-old son who is, number one, involved in stealing cars, number two, hanging out with a bunch of derelicts, number three, carrying a semi-automatic weapon, number four, running from police, number five, not complying with police commands, and then number six, pointing that gun at police. I would be distraught. I think most people would be distraught. Fair to say?
It's fair to say.
Okay.
I'll also say it's distraught to see your kid get shot. I would start with that with number one.
So that was on Friday, May the 2nd. So between 10 and 11 a.m. 2 hours later, Rodney Hinton Jr., 38 years old, the father here, drives a car into a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy at the corner of Martin Luther King and Burnett Woods, which is on the campus of the University of Cincinnati, where commencement ceremonies were underway. So the sheriff's deputy was there, recently retired, working a detail, making some extra money, and controlling the traffic light at that intersection, because that intersection is a pain in the ass no matter what time of the day you drive through it.
That is a fact.
And with all the extra people on campus because of graduation, he's doing traffic control. So this guy, and look, you have been on countless scenes of car wrecks. And I don't know if we have a picture of this, but you see the condition of that car. And that car had to be going, I have no idea how fast it was going, but it's not as if this is an intersection where I think the speed limit at this intersection is probably 25, maybe 30 miles an hour in that particular area at Martin Luther King and Burnett.
I don't have that picture.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at the condition of this car. I mean, there's one of the wheels is off the car.
I mean, it's literally wrapped around a pole. I mean, to describe it to the audio listeners that aren't watching, I mean, it's wrapped around a pole. Now, so how he got the speed, from what I have been told from people that were down there, because I know some people that were in that area.
Yeah.
How he got the speed, because it was UC's graduation. Like, it was so. Quit chomping in the microphone. You're killing me right now.
I know, I'm having a lozenge.
You're fucking killing me. But how he got the speed is amazing, for one. But I mean, picture a pole and a car like that. I mean, it's essentially what it looks like. Not that dramatic, but yeah, that car is fucked. He had to be cut out of the car. I do know that for a fact. So the car was fucked.
Yeah.
If that answers your question.
But this is less than 24 hours. So this is why I object to the use of the word tragedy. To my way of thinking, this is premeditated. And it's his flat out murder. Flat out murder. And the traffic control box is on the ground. But that intersection, and this is based on the orientation of the photo that I'm looking at, I would imagine that the deputy never saw it coming, and probably hit, and he probably got hit from behind.
I think that's. I mean, we don't know that. I think
that would be my.
I think it's a fair assumption, but that's what he was doing. And Dan, you hit it on the head. Traffic control box was on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally, all he was doing was working a detail to allow people to cross the street to go to their commencement ceremony. That's all he was doing. He wasn't. It was Cincinnati Police Department that shot his son. It wasn't Hamilton County Sheriff's. They had the sheriff's deputies, doing their details. That's what's so fucked up with this, and which infuriates me even more than, outside of a law enforcement officer, getting killed senselessly, is the fact it wasn't even the same agency, for one. I think it's just ignorance in the fact that, all law enforcement is bad. No. If your kid got, unfortunately got killed, but your kid was doing something bad, you don't take it out on everybody else. And I guess that's just, the moral scruples that I have. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm weird, but the fact this poor guy was just sitting there literally clicking a button, letting people cross the street. And I don't know if he saw it coming. I hope he didn't, to be honest with you. Me being being a paramedic as long as I hope he didn't. But fuck. Like, this hits hard, and anybody that's out of town may not get it completely, but Dan and I felt that this needed to be, put out on our podcast today, because this piece of shit has a special place in hell. I understand retribution. You feel you need to do that retribution, but guess what? Let the fucking ways of the law work out the way they're supposed to.
Michael Wright of the Cochran Law Firm says he was with the family as they reviewed the body cam footage. There was some misreporting that happened on this story on Friday night, because somehow the word got out and the word spread that the perp had actually died in the hospital. And I read this story, and I'm telling people, the perp's dead, because it was published online. And the Cincinnati Enquirer had some quotes from Michael Wright of the Cochran Law Firm. And this was some of the first comments he had made about the case. And he talked about the father being distraught, said he couldn't finish watching the video. And now we know that he actually walked out of the room they were in, didn't communicate with anyone. And no one had heard a single word from him until he committed the crime and drove into the sheriff's deputy a couple of hours later. But here's what the attorney said about the family. This was a good family. This was a family that was very close-knit. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright of the Cochran Law Firm. I don't consider that if you have a son who is 18 years old, who is stealing cars, who is defying police commands, who is carrying a weapon and pointing a gun at police, I don't consider that coming from a good family. The younger Hinton was described as a great kid full of life. Well, you know what? That may have been true. But great kids don't go around stealing cars and committing crimes. I have not yet seen a criminal history on this kid, the 18-year-old kid who got shot and killed.
So I don't think.
But that kid got what was coming to him.
With what I saw yesterday, as we were preparing for this, I don't think he had a documented criminal history. Documented. His dad did.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find it.
I've got it right here.
You have it. Perfect.
The man charged with killing a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy previously pleaded guilty to assault and aggravated menacing. Rodney Hilton Jr. struck the deputy with his car on May 1st as the deputy was directing traffic at the University of Cincinnati. It was a Cincinnati. So not only does this guy have a criminal history, he's not smart enough to figure out the difference between a Cincinnati police officer and a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy. And anyone who's
just seeing cop.
Anyone who's from around here, their uniforms are starkly different. And to my way of thinking, there's really no mistaking a sheriff's deputy and a Cincinnati police.
But at that point, he didn't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's just trying to hit a fucking cop. I mean, I think it's ignorant. You and I think it's ignorant.
Yeah.
But this, and because this poor guy, who we'll say his name later, R.I.P., but fucking, he didn't care. He didn't care
No, he
what
didn't know.
he
He didn't
didn't
give-
care
he don't
what
give a
cop it
shit.
was. He didn't care what cop it was.
And we're gonna prove that here in just a little bit. You know, he goes on to say, this is the lawyer speaking again. The family's distraught. They lost a grandchild. They lost a brother. Lost a son. Okay, great. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the particulars here. Let's see.
It was something out of Middletown is where he got charged. It was assault and
Right.
something
Yeah.
else.
Right. Said he didn't know yet if the family is going to file a lawsuit over the shooting.
Which I mean,
I hope they do.
which I'm sure they lawyered up already.
Yeah.
Before he even hit the sheriff's deputy, they already lawyered up to attempt to fight it. Which, I mean, I think anybody would. I don't fault them for that. But now all of a sudden, now they have two cases.
Yeah. Rodney Hinton Jr. went to Purcell Marion High School. This is the kid that was killed, according to his Facebook profile. Hinton's profile said he works for First Student.
That's a dad.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Ryan,
Okay, yeah,
Ryan Hinton is the one that got
all right,
shot.
my bad. Let me see. Says that he works for First Student, but the company said he applied to work for the company, but does not work for them. Hilton pleaded guilty to assault and aggravated menacing in Middletown in 2023. He was sentenced to a year of probation in order to have no contact with the victims. Previously, he shared posts about police brutality on social media.
I tried to find these podcasts, by the way, and I couldn't find them.
Including a podcast criticizing the execution of Nate Woods, a black man who was sentenced to death in Alabama, despite never touching the murder weapon. He also shared a post calling for the arrest of an officer who shot at Ataniana Jefferson, 28-year-old black woman in Texas, while responding to a call for a wellness check. So here's a guy who's got previous convictions.
I scoured yesterday, Dan. I scoured for those podcasts, and I could not fucking find them.
Yeah, and apparently has an axe to grind with police and with law enforcement.
Yeah, from a 10,000-foot view, sure looks like it, right? If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? At least where I come from, maybe.
But I must say, when he appeared in court yesterday for his initial hearing, there was a response from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. The room where they have this is down at what we call the Justice Center here in Hamilton County, and it's called Room A. There's a waiting room outside of Room A where all the perps and skells hang out until it's their time to appear before the judge. But the actual room where you appear before the judge, I've been in there many times, is not all that big. It's really not that much bigger. It's maybe of the room that we're sitting in right now. But there was at least 30 or 40 Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies there when this guy made his initial appearance. Do you want to roll the longer video of that, or let's roll the longer video of that, and then we'll cut to the video, the shorter one, of where he just walks out, because I want you to see the response of the.
I've got like multiple, so I'm like trying to figure it out which one is better.
But this all ties into what we've talked about before on this podcast, and Jason, you're a part of this. This is this brotherhood of first responders, and how if you're a firefighter, if you're a police officer, if you're a deputy, that in times like this, you all join ranks and you stand with each other and show your support and love for that that fallen first responder and for their family.
At 8:30 a.m. for a hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that the non-bond hearing is no request.
All right, no bond. Thank you. We can hold him at no bond for 72 hours, is that right?
That's correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
I want to stop it there because we have a better video for the last part of that. That whole back of the room was stacked with Hamilton County sheriffs, people that we know, watching him because he took down one of I'm going to say one of ours. I mean, I'm a fireman, but those are my buddies as well, and I had run across the deputy once or twice, but I did not know him. So I'm not saying like it's, one of my buddies, but it's one of our friends' buddies. That whole room, you never see that ever, ever, ever. Whole room in the back was completely covered with black shirts and gray pants. I mean, those guys were, they were there in force, and it was something.
That was a great thing to see.
It was something to see.
And I believe most of them were on their own personal time.
Correct.
Showing up there for that show of unity.
Yes. And where's your other one? I don't know where you want to go from. If you want to go right into the other one.
Well, yeah. Let's show there's a different, slightly different angle of when this guy walks out of the courtroom, and this will give you this is probably the moment that set me off on this case more than anything else.
Yep.
So let's see that, where he walks out of the courtroom. Yeah, so there he is, acknowledging some of his homies outside in the waiting area. There's a very thick glass partition there that protects the people in the courtroom. Roll it one more time. Look at the guy with his hands up, and then this person over here. With a raised fist in the air.
Which is going to roll me into something else after you're done.
So there are some people in the community who are supporting this guy, and I am definitely not going to say any of their names. The people who are putting out this stuff that the shooting of his son was wrong, and somehow the vengeance that this guy extracted on a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy was justified. That this guy deserves to be freed. That there should be uprisings in support of this dude.
You couldn't hear, and I don't know, and I'm gonna be impartial with this because I don't know where it was directed. What you couldn't hear in that video is as he was walking back into the holding chambers, was he's gonna be gone forever. Now, whether he's talking to the guy, because I literally today, like just now, saw that dude behind him.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before, but he was looking, and he was bowing up on all the officers on his way out.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to be gone forever. I don't know whether he was talking about the officer or whether he was talking about his kid, and whether he was trying to project that to, dude holding the fucking fist or whatever the fuck he was doing. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Either one. Yeah, they're both gone forever. They're both gone. But when I saw that, and somebody had said, "Hey, did you see like somebody was throwing like a heart sign, with their hands and whatever?" I watched it over and over and over again. I didn't see it, but I saw that dude just now. But what bothers me the most is the fact that our society is fucked, right? I mean, we know this. And when you have shit that happens like this, where it's a tragedy that a fucking innocent police officer just directing traffic gets fucking killed. I don't think it's a tragedy that that Hinton Jr.'s son got killed.
No.
He had a fucking gun. Stole a car. But when I see shit like this on Facebook, so Signal 99 posted this, which they big police followers, but they shared some of the shit. And it's what is holding signs on sticks going to do? That's like your mama asking you nicely to be quiet. Nah, motherfuckers need to listen or listen better when action is involved. And then this stupid fucking site, and I implore you to just go crash this fucking Facebook page. Cincy plug. Cincinnati, it's time to riot. A Cincinnati police officer shot a boy in his back. He ran right past the officer and shot him. Fuck, it's time. We stand together and we take these motherfuckers down. Fuck Cincinnati Police Department. It's time for an officer not to make it home. Fuck his family. You know what I say? Fuck you. Fuck you. And what I would like to see, and it's never going to happen, but what I would like to see is Cincinnati police just stop responding to the fucking shithole areas. and let it be martial law. You figure your shit out. We're not coming in there. I know that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I know that's not realistic, Dan. I get it. I'm just saying the stupid shit that's going out.
Well, you're venting your frustration, just like a lot of other people are. And some of the comments that I've seen, and I saw one today that popped up on my my social media feed was someone who took the time to actually put a video together with production value and pictures of the perp and then video of the shooting and the guy in court and all the rest of it, and essentially saying that N-word needs to be freed. And calling for a riot and calling for police to be harmed and all the rest of it. So there's that element out there. How much traction they're getting? Thank God nothing has happened between Friday and today.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens in the coming week.
But the scary that's a scary part is you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but our prosecutor
is that koozie for?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not good on that.
You slide it across. That's kind of like my cue.
The prosecutor, Connie Pillich, put this statement out. We are heartbroken by the loss of a member of our law enforcement community who died after being struck by a vehicle while he was doing his job. Our thoughts are with the officer's family, colleagues, and those who are grieving his tragic loss. Again, the word tragic, I disagree with the use of that word. We remain steadfast in our support for the men and women who risk their lives each day to protect us. The investigation is ongoing, but if the facts show this act was intentional, as the charge suggests, I will throw the full force of the law at the perpetrator. I employ people not to act rashly, so there is not another tragedy. So that came from Connie Pillich, the prosecutor here in Hamilton County. She does not use the term death penalty. The different lawyers and legal experts I've talked to about this case can easily make the case that this would be a death penalty case. She is not saying, and I guess in some respects she can't jump the gun on this.
Right, it's very preliminary.
But
I mean, here we are. It's Sunday. That was Friday.
It's at least somewhat encouraging that she is saying that she'll throw the full force of the law at the perpetrator.
Well, and here's the thing. With her coming in as the Democrat prosecutor, I'm not trying to throw it political, but she has to do that, though. If she doesn't, she's going to lose all faith in Hamilton County sheriffs, Cincinnati police, and any public service around her if the facts come out the way that we think that they are going to, because, I mean, it is pretty fucking cut and dry. But obviously, due process will do its thing. Oh, wait, there's that term, due process. Weird.
Yeah.
They want due process. No, but I mean, she has to gather all the evidence, look at it. But I think you and I will be satisfied at the end of this.
Well, not only does she have to prosecute the case of the dad hitting the sheriff's deputy, she also has to review the case of the Cincinnati police officer who shot the kid.
Yeah.
So it's going to be up to her once all the evidence is gathered from that incident to make a determination on whether or not a police officer is going to face charges.
She's got a lot
for
of work
pulling his gun and shooting that kid.
She's got a lot of work to do for the next couple weeks.
So
I mean, I giggle, but hey, you just jumped into this position, so here you are.
So I mean, that could be a triggering event if she decides that there's not going to be any charges for the police officers that were involved in the incident where the 18-year-old, the junior, met his maker. One of the people you see in there is Chief Deputy Chris Ketterman, who's my neighbor who lives just a few blocks away from where I live. He's married to
Big Red,
a girl who's been a friend of our family's ever since I was a little kid. So we've got close connections to him as well. Chief Scott Hughes, who was with the Hamilton Township Police. Here's the statement that he put out, and I want to read this. And I'm going to read this tomorrow on my radio show.
You're getting to hear first, folks.
Here's what he said. A Hamilton County deputy was murdered today. Not by accident, not in a moment of chaos, but targeted, ambushed, and killed while directing traffic at the University of Cincinnati commencement ceremony. And here's what should outrage every decent person. The driver who hit and killed that deputy was the father of the thug who fled from Cincinnati police yesterday armed with a gun and was shot and killed by CPD. Let that sink in. Instead of taking accountability for his son's criminal actions, this father chose revenge. He got in his car and intentionally drove into a deputy simply because he wore a badge. Where was this father yesterday when his son was running wild with a gun? Where was his outrage when the kid endangered lives and forced officers into a deadly encounter? This is bigger than one family. This is about a culture that defends criminals and demonizes the cops trying to stop them. This is evil, and it's unacceptable. And this one hurts. I knew this deputy. He was a one-of-a-kind, a cop's cop. The kind of guy who made you proud to do this job. He deserved better. His family deserves better. Enough is enough. To my brothers and sisters in uniform, stay sharp, stay focused, stay ready. The uniform makes you a target, but your training, awareness, and mindset keeps you alive. Watch each other's backs. Don't get complacent. The job is more dangerous than ever, but we will still show up for each other and the people who depend on us. We owe it to ourselves, our families, and the memory of our fallen to keep fighting the right way. And God bless everyone who wears the uniform. And thank you, Chief Scott Hughes, for those words. I mean, I don't know that you can sum it up and really any better than that.
I don't think you can. And I saw that and I was like, literally as I was reading, I started tearing up. I was like, because obviously I work hand in hand with our police officers and they're all hurting. But what do you do? Like I reached out to a couple deputies that I know, like, hey man, if you need anything, but you don't want to bombard them with shit because obviously it's all fresh. But yeah, it fucking sucks.
Alex Trantafilu, who was previously served on the bench, was the leader of the Hamilton County Republican Party, is now the leader of the state Republican Party here in the state of Ohio. Here's a statement that he issued, and he said, and he put it with a picture of Courtroom A on his social media. I believe this was on his Facebook page. But he writes, "This is Courtroom A in the Hamilton County Justice Center. I've been in this room hundreds of times and presided over court here many times during my time as a judge. I have never seen a scene like this, ever, with more than 30 deputies in that small area. This is a serious show of force. One of their own was slaughtered in cold blood. Remember this, they are the good guys. They are here to protect us. There should be zero tolerance for crime and violence in every community in America. Pray for the family of this murdered hero and pray for the fine men and women who wear the uniform and protect us. A great Marine, deputy, father, husband, and friend." And those are the words of Alex Trantafilu. Another great commentary.
Yeah. It's one of those, I mean, at this point, I'm gonna say R.I.P. Larry Henderson. You're gonna be missed. You were loved. I personally, I've crossed paths with you, but I did not know you. But I know a lot of people that did know you very, very well. And Not fair. It's just not fucking fair.
Well, he was almost hit and killed by a car a couple of years ago out on I-74.
Yeah.
And I think that was close to your neck of the woods.
Not 74.
Not on 74? Okay.
Not 74.
All right.
No. Learn where I work, Dan.
Well, I mean,
Come on, act like you know me. Act like you know me. Act like you know me. No, that was nowhere close. But
all right.
I do remember hearing that story, though.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, I mean, the fucking tragedy and the way it transpired. Like we hear, and I follow, Fair to Stop all the time with police breakdowns and shootouts and all this stuff. Comm Center with all those things. For this to be a targeted attack, and I would love somebody to argue with me that it wasn't, because I'm pretty sure that everybody in the greater tri-state area realizes that it's a fucking targeted attack. It's just, you have two bad things, less than 24 hours apart, or 24, we'll call it 24 hours apart just to be safe. That way we're doing real news, even though it's not real news. It's it's just it's so bad when you have cops that are involved in a shooting, for one, and now you have a cop that's killed because of that shooting the next day. But then you have all the social media keyboard warriors that want to create an uprising. You're not bringing any facts to say why that kid shouldn't have been shot. Because we're starting a racial divide again, is what's happening. We're going back to Cincinnati back in 2000.
One of the...
I hope we're not. But that's the way it's...
Well, based on what has not happened this weekend, I'm thinking that cooler heads are going to prevail here, and that most reasonable thinking people have seen the video of the shooting of the kid, realized that kid was in the wrong, realized that he was endangering the lives of those police officers who, if that kid would have stopped, when he dropped that gun, if he would have stopped and put his hands up,
splayed out on the ground,
laid on the ground, followed commands, that kid would be alive today.
Yeah.
That kid would be alive today. But through his actions, he brought about his own death, and by extension, he brought about the death of a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy, because his father reacted to what he saw there.
And to be honest with you, I'm going to throw it another step further. That 18-year-old affected not only the lives of the fucking deputy that got killed, but affected the family of the police officer, the Cincinnati police officer who shot him. Because that guy's got to live with that.
He's got to live with it, sure.
And that's going to trickle over into home. All right, so, and I'll play devil's advocate. Just play with me for a second. Let's just say it was a bad shoot. I don't think it was in my heart of hearts, but I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge. Let's just say it was a bad shoot. That family's still fucked. The Hinton family's still fucked. And now the Henderson family's fucked, right? But if the prosecutor deems, with the evidence that's shown with the body cam, and which is the body cam is the greatest thing that they could have brought about. I know that's kind of a wishy-washy thing, because sometimes you just don't need shit on body cam.
Well,
but the fact that they have body cams, and it's following, and they have radio traffic that coordinates with the body cam, I feel very confident in the fact this is a good shoot. But I'm just saying, the guy that shot, I mean, anybody that kills somebody, even if it's a good shoot, still has to live with that.
Sure. A few years ago, how long ago was it that Sonny Kim was killed?
Oh, fuck.
Cincinnati police officer.
15.
Has it been 15 years?
2015, I believe.
Okay.
We had our warthog rendezvous here in 15. Yeah, so 15, I believe.
The Cincinnati cop who killed the guy who killed Sonny Kim is my brother-in-law. And we have talked many times. He has opened up to me on multiple occasions, talking about how this affected him mentally. It just, over the course of his career, and he had more than 20 years with Cincinnati police. He said not only was that the first time he had to fire his weapon, it was the first time he ever had to draw his weapon. And he had to take out the guy, and then he had worked very closely for many years with Sonny Kim. And then as soon as he got to the scene, he knew Sonny was already gone. But yet he had to engage this guy who was bearing down on him,
right, with
a gun. So this affected him, and I can tell you that it changed his life. I have tried many times to get him to come on the podcast here, come on my radio show, and even after all this time, he still. I mean, he sought the help that's available, and thank God it is, to officers who wind up in these situations. But he sought that help, and that help paid dividends for him, and so he's able to carry on with his life, and he's doing fine now.
Yeah, I mean, mental health is a huge fucking thing, and if you take somebody else's life, whether it's justified or whether it's not, it's still going to fuck with you.
Sure,
if you're a normal human being,
right? It's
going to fuck with you. So everybody's affected, and I understand emotions. Emotions are, at a height. But when I see, I am going to go on a quick rant in the fact that I was reading and seeing things where at the firehouse, guys are like, "Hey, did you see that the mom's going to the Reds game and gonna kill cops?" After this yesterday.
Yeah, that kind of stuff gets out there.
So
that's crazy talk.
And I saw Facebook posts that were posted. Well, I looked at them real quick, but I was busy. I was okay, whatever. I mean, our men in blue we'll figure it out. But then I started looking at the Facebook post. I went to her Facebook page, and I saw the post. And all it said was, and I'm going to cliff note it in the fact that I'm trying to get through. Thank you for all the DMs, and the support. But I want to show what the quote, in quotes, Cincinnati Reds, end quote, really looks like. So it made it sound like she wanted to kill people, but she wasn't going to the Reds game. There were so many people I saw on Facebook going, "Oh my God, she's coming to the Reds game to shoot people." Like stupid shit like that. Like the mass hysteria where people just didn't read it. They saw Cincinnati Reds and boom, done. And I read through it and I looked at it and I was like, she's pissed off and she wants blood.
Well,
but it was amazing to me.
You're a lot better than finding that stuff on social media than I am. And unfortunately, Pappas, who's not here, he's better at finding that kind of stuff than both of us put together.
Well, he fucking lives in social media world.
But the one thing that I look at on a regular basis is the fallen officers website, and it's called the Officer Down Memorial page, and every law enforcement officer who loses his or her life in the line of duty gets mentioned on this page. Do you know that already this year there's been 23 in the line of duty deaths? And then this is only the beginning of May.
Yeah.
23. Then that doesn't include what happened here in Cincinnati. And I think a couple of others that happened over the last 2 or 3 days. I mean, it's out of control. I mean, the disregard for the life of law enforcement is it's got to stop, man. And like the chief said, this stuff has got to stop, and this disrespect for law enforcement, it's a huge societal problem.
Because if you mess with law enforcement, and you want to defund the police and do all that shit, that they were talking about years ago, the homicide rates are going to be fucking through the roof, right? All the crime is going up. So I take accountability for yourselves. That's the thing. And I guess I was brought up different, but you have to take accountability.
But just one more thing that I want to say on this before we move on to something else is
then we'll move on.
The vice mayor of the city of Cincinnati, Jan Lemon Kearney, put out a statement, and I don't have it in front of me, but essentially she said that, we're all mourning the loss of a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy and also of an 18-year-old who was taken from us too soon. I've got news for the vice mayor of Cincinnati. I am not among those mourning the loss of this 18-year-old punk who was taken from us too soon, according to you.
Yeah, I don't
care. Just to sort of fill in that missing blank there. I think there's a lot of us who are not mourning the loss of that scumbag.
Yeah, I don't care whether he had a criminal record or not. He was in a stolen car, sleeping with fucking 3 other dudes for one, which makes me a little suspect anyway. Just to throw a little bit of fucking light into it, right, wrong, or indifferent. I am very, very confident in the fact that CPD did their due diligence and did what they needed to do.
But Larry Henderson, rest in peace, brother.
Yes, sir.
God, I wish we didn't have to talk about this today.
And for anybody that's out of town that, you really don't give a shit about this. Cops are shot and hit and whatever all over the country, but this hits hard because we know people that know him, and it was weird. So we have the platform, so we decided to showcase it. Showcase, not the right word. I didn't mean that, but bring it to light. The fact that Fox News covered it. Like Fox News, National News covered it. I was like, holy fuck. So I'm bringing something else up. I'm sharing this screen. Dan, when you win the lottery, $167 million in Powerball. Georgetown's not probably an hour and a half?
About an hour, just shy of an hour, probably from where we're at. Yeah.
This fucking idiot, James Farthing. And our buddy Mike Dardis from our Channel 5 says, you can't make this stuff up. Just days after winning $167 million in Powerball, Georgetown, Kentucky's James Farthing, watch how you say the name, because it does sound like farting, is arrested in St. Pete in Florida. I wonder if he was hanging out with Chris and Carrie. They hang out in St. Pete.
Good point.
For allegedly kicking an officer in the face after a bar fight.
What an idiot. Oh, my God.
Have you ever watched those... I think it's TLC or TLC channel or whatever, like Life After the Lottery.
You know what?
And you see how many people that fucking lose their fucking all their millions.
When that series first started, I think I watched a few episodes of it, but they all seem to sort of have the same cadence, the same kind of storyline, and it just kind of got repetitive. So I kind of lost interest in it.
If you hit the lottery, would you tell anybody?
Well. Yeah, I wouldn't go announce it. There would be some people who you would probably know.
Okay,
there would be some people who would know. Sure.
You know what's funny is when I asked that question, I would let you know that I want it.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of people that do not let their family members or anybody know, and they just fucking roll on through.
Because you would look at me and say, "Damn, Dan, where'd you get that nice truck?"
Like, holy shit!
I won the lottery.
What the fuck just happened? I got this one, and this comes from our friend Falk, Brittany Faulkner, Falkerator. Find out. She goes, "It's not a teacher in sex, but it's just as good." And I said, "All right,
Well, who was the girl that was next to him in the mugshot there?
The
side by side.
His whore bag.
Okay.
This other one is Texas mother arrested after bringing Jell-O shots to the 5th grade classroom party.
I don't know if maybe Jell-O shots were around when I was in the 5th grade, but if I was in the 5th grade and someone would have given me Jell-O shots, I probably would have gobbled them right up. I do now. I
love Jell-O all growing up.
The people that we hang out with make very good Jello shots. Am I right about that?
That's a fact.
Yeah, we've got some friends who just make killer.
I'm
Jello.
gonna name drop. Melissa Hellman makes some killer.
Oh
Jello
my
shots.
God! Yeah.
A Texas mother who officials say took alcoholic Jello shots to her child's elementary school Christmas party has been arrested. And this is a little bit old, but I love it because I didn't have a teacher sex one. So Britt said, "Hey, you should play this one." Teresa Isabel Bernal, 33, was charged with injury to a child in connection to a party December 20th at Jones Elementary School in Tyler, Texas. Well, they do everything big in Texas, buddy. Bernal purchased the Jello shots from a home business she found on Facebook, according to the arrest affidavit. The shots were laid out on a table along with treats students had brought to share in a cafeteria where fifth grade classes gathered, and officials said. 15 students consumed the shots, and nearly all reported throwing up. No, I'm just kidding. Having stomach aches and headaches. Well, guess what? You're learning early. You're learning how to fucking hang out. Let's see what happened to her. When questioned by Tyler Independent School District, police officer Bernal said she did not know the shots contained alcohol, but conceded they do taste different.
Oh,
in question, they do taste different, Dan.
Yeah.
The arrest affidavit said she said she had discovered the shots had alcohol only after the children had consumed some of them, according to officials. Can you fucking imagine? Can you imagine picking Hassler up from school and him being all fucked up, walking out like just
mistakes happen.
Yeah, mistakes.
I don't know. A kid having a Jello shot's not the worst thing they could have.
Oh, you got this one too.
You got a Belichick update, huh?
Yeah, you sent me this one. This one's good too.
Oh no, okay. You know, we cannot top this. So this has got to be the last thing of the show.
Yeah, lead it up because we're over time.
We got a what?
I said if you want to lead it up, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Do we got to do Murphy engraving first?
Yeah, let's do Murphy.
Let's do Murphy engraving, then we'll do the Belichick video. Hilarious. Hilarious. That's a good tease. Stick around for the Belichick video. You'll be glad you did.
When you sent that to me, that was fucking hilarious.
Hi, everyone. Dan Carroll here. Time to tell you about a great new sponsor for the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. It's Murphy Engraving. Murphy Engraving is the place to go for your business, industrial, and personal engraving needs. Take a look at the Murphy Engraving page on Facebook, and you're going to see all kinds of unique items that really seem to take on a life of their own because they've been customized with an image, a name, or a logo, and all of it just really beautifully done. The acrylic sports awards that light up are especially creative and very cool. The customized bottles of bourbon, those are my personal favorite. And wait till you see what they can do with items that are made out of wood. The next time you want to recognize someone special or you're looking for that one-of-a-kind gift, you'll be glad you checked out Murphy Engraving. And a bonus, you're supporting a local family-owned business run by brothers Brian and Kevin, who is a lifetime firefighter and Air Force vet. At Murphy Engraving, they turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, and at Murphy Engraving, we are American-made. So to close out the show today, one more and I'm out of here.
I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with how you did that. One take, you killed it. I was very impressed. Just letting you know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
See, you think I hate you all the time, but I don't.
But when it comes to celebrity news, I tend not to pay that much attention to it. So I really haven't followed the Belichick thing all that much, although I do remember the day that he showed up at the NFL award show. I came in and I said, Belichick's killing it, man. He's rocking with that the 24-year-old girl.
We are going to have to figure the schedule out before we close out as well.
But so, it's going, he did the interview with 60 Minutes and she said, oh, we're not talking about this. So, the whole thing is blowing up all over the place. So this video pops up on my social media feed and I clicked on it and I'm watching and I'm like, you immediately, and I'm going to let you know it's not real. It's fake. It's AI, but it's still funny as hell because
it's amazing
if Belichick could speak freely, this is probably pretty close to what he would say, but it's pretty good and it pretty much speaks for itself. So enjoy this as we send you on your way from the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
I wanted to take a second to address the rumors swirling around about my interview the other day and tell you all the truth about my relationship with Jordan. The truth is that you're all just a bunch of fucking haters, and it drives you crazy to see a 70-year-old guy happy with a smoking hot 24-year-old chick bouncing up and down on his crusty pair of balls. You hate it because I've made it in life and you haven't. I've got 8 fucking Super Bowl rings and you got none. I can get any chick I want, but you probably got to come home every night and stick your 2-inch fucking pecker in some barn animal of a woman. I mean, come on. Robert Kraft has to go to the rub and tug and pay for it. And Brady, the guy's wife, got knocked up by a fucking karate teacher. What a loser. Anyways, everyone saw the interview. That bum reporter was supposed to come talk about my book, not my dating life. And Jordan shut his ass down, just like Malcolm Butler shut down Mr. Unlimited on the goal line in Super Bowl 49. She was just doing her job. But you all want to make some fucking thing about it. It's pathetic. So please, for the love of Christ, can you all shut the hell up about it? I'll see you guys on the football field.
So whoever put that together, it's pretty funny.
Oh, when you
fake as hell, but still pretty funny.
When you said that to me and I looked at it, you're like, it's fake. It's fake. I know it's fake. But I was like, oh my God.
I've made it in life. 8 Super Bowl rings.
It's fucking gold.
And she can bounce up and down on my crusty nutsack all day.
Dan, when are you on? When are you on the radio?
Well, Friday is out, so sometime I should be able to do something either Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll figure it out.
Oh, your shit's open.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is I'm on Kelly.
There you go.
So pick a day.
Well, I can't.
Not Wednesday.
Okay, not Wednesday.
I mean, we can do Wednesday at 5. Say Wednesday.
All
at
right,
5.
Wednesday at 5.
Wednesday at 5. Hey, everybody.
That's our target anyway.
That's our target.
All right.
Follow the Instagram to figure out if that actually stays true. But Wednesday at 5, potentially we'll figure out.
Might have to do some garage golf this week.
Well, we should.
It was a good idea.
We'll figure out if the Harry Greek's back and ready to go or not. But guys, I know that this was kind of a Debbie Downer episode, but we felt that we needed to put this out just to honor Larry Henderson. But Jesus Christ, all the shit that's going on across the country with these fucking cops getting killed for stupid reasons. We love you all. We appreciate you. Make sure you download. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take this down. Do me a favor and at least download this episode just in case it does. Only in the fact that there's a couple words that are in there. But download it and we appreciate you. We'll see you Wednesday at 5.
See you next time.